Hello everyone. We'll use Deepseek to generate our dashboard, and we'll see how we can create a live dashboard just with few prompts on Deepseek. GDP for Power BI. So now the system will create a Power BI dashboard with M Query on GDP of the countries around the world. It will have an API connected. So here we can see the code is being generated, but we will get an API connected from World Bank. So we have authenticated resource available at the backend, and we'll just get a code generated. So here we can see the code is being generated by Deepseek and give us step by step how we'll paste the code and will work. So these are all the instructions we get. So now we'll first copy the basic code for World Bank API and then paste it and then see how it works. So we are on Power BI. Here on Get Data, we'll paste query, advanced editor. We'll paste the advanced editor. Here it will first bring in the API from World Bank's website, which we can work on. So we'll move back and we'll start working on our dashboard. So if we have our query loaded, which is about GDP, so we rename it to GDP. We'll go into data. Within that data, we'll change the column in numbers that we all want. Either we can change in currency or numbers. If we change currency, so we can mention which currency it is from. So it's already USD, but we can choose any currency. From here, we can change currencies from your euro to dollar and pounds. So it's already in USD. So we'll first use maps. We open maps. Within from the country, we can drop down the country. So we can see all the countries which are in our data sets being mapped. And now in legends, we can drop GDP value in billions or per year. So we have current USD GDP in billions. We map it here. We can use this as a data set. So if we hover over there, we can know how is the GDP in numbers. So we can see the numbers in billions is 4.1993 billion for Iran, and for in country code POL, it is 0.37325 billion. Either we can have the whole value or in billions. We want this year on year, we can create a table or we can create a bar chart. If we create a bar chart, here would be the bar chart. So we take billions as x-axis. So now we have billions as x-axis, and then y-axis is country. But we can use one more option, which is small multiples. Within that, if we drop in the country, we divide all these countries separately. So now we can see all these countries separately on air basis, or we can have here as legend. Sorry, can use them as uh, country by country. Not this is a lengthy dashboard, but it is very useful if you want to see country by country. We can see Afghanistan, how much they are doing. We can enhance in small multiples how many rows we should see, but we can create legends for this data. Bars, we can change the colors, spacing, but it's too messy if we have it like this because it's too big. So we'll remove small multiples, and we'll have a country by country. We want a division year by year. So here we have by country, but we can move it to year by year in small multiples. So if we can see comparison of a country, what each of those countries were doing at the small specific passage of time in 1960. What were the GDPs in 1960, 63, 61, follow on to current year for 30 years. So we can have this available, or we can have simply a matrix chart, which matrix chart will give us a leverage to have these countries available, and then we can use this value in a filter form. In a filter form, we mean to say is I can skew this information in one go. So you see here, we have a plus sign. We can remove values from here. Now I have a plus sign. I have to press this sign, get the values here. So for example, each of the countries, I can have to click here and I'll get for each year what was their economies over there. In control, we can add zoom option, uh, and we have this option available where we can use geocode and culture. We can customize the maps if we have any customized maps available. We can add those options. We want to remove the title and also the header icons. So we have our map available. We can add few buttons with respect to year with the slicer. Here we have the slicer option. Sorry. We can add the slicer option. With slicer, we can add country or year which we want. So all of these countries we want to have buttons or drop down where we can choose it here. If we need a tile or a drop down, if we need a drop down, we can choose drop down. For year, we can have a slicer which goes like a cycle. We can move the cycle around. We can see which year, how much the country was performing. So this is a slicer. We can move around and see which specific year, what was the connectivity or the performance of the GDP each of the countries. And here we go. So we can see up till 2023, and all of this is connected to World Bank's website. So as their data progresses, we can get all their data. We can get the countries here. We can see Australia. We can see ASM, ARM, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Azerbaijan. What was their economy in that period? You can see the total, and we can be specific for 2020. For example, 2020, we want to know what was the economy. So this is the economy in 2020. We can check for the whole world if we remove the filter, and we can check for an individual year for 2020. So we can see here for 2020 what was the economy for each of the countries in our map available. So at the back end, it is indeed the data from World Bank website. We can add a heat map. A heat map included, we can see OECD, GDP values, the world GDP. We can see the world GDP at a specific time, which is 2021. If we want to see what was the world GDP, we can click world GDP 97 trillion. What was for OECD? What's for other countries in the map? What were their GDPs at a specific time in 2021? So now we can see that basic data can be developed just from a Deepseek prompt, and we can go ahead and we don't need much of a technical expertise on the level of writing a code. Thank you very much.